welcome and thank you for joining us. We're starting a couple minutes early so we can go over the basics here. We're going to be sending Nina and Paul ahead. I'm going to give you we're out on the Cape. We're at the overlooked area of the lighthouse. You can see it down there. And we're going to send them ahead. They're going to be our greeters. What we're going to do is we're going to take you through what a typical tour is here at Cape Blanco, which is where...
Four-stop experience.
Four-stop experience. All four of us have been here this month, volunteer hosting at Cape Blanco, and we just want to share this beautiful location with you. So I'm going to let the greeter and storyteller head on down, and we will join you in a few minutes. So just a couple of things. If you would like to chat with us, in the upper right-hand corner is the chat box. You can go there and you can type in messages to us. We probably won't be paying attention to them during the tour part, but afterwards we'll probably do some sort of Q&A if anyone would like that. Just a couple of caveats. As more people join us throughout the viewing, Ustream may start putting up advertising. That we are on a free account with them, and that is how they fund this wonderful technology. Any slowness that happens will be because we are on AT&T data. We have an unlimited data plan on our iPad, which is how we're able to bring these video casts to you.
We are in a remote location, so the signal may have drops and glitches, but we're in general getting really good AT&T out here on the Cape itself. So,
yes, and we are in a very windy location. We will try to talk closer. Most of the tour will be inside where the wind will not be a problem, so please do bear with us. And I'll get closer to the iPad so perhaps we can hear. I think that covers it. So we're going to take you on a tour. I'm going to put you inside our Mini Cooper and take you down the hill.
Okay, and just a quick audio check, because I think somebody said they couldn't hear. Can you hear now?
Yes, see, someone says perfect.
Good,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Most of the video chat will be done close up and personal and indoors without the wind. We're just starting out here. So we're going to uncast the Mini. Tripod. All right. Okay. And take the tripod. We're going to go get in the Mini. Yes, okay.
I'll get the Mini.
Okay, you guys are going to come with me and open the gate. So we will be going down this road, and you can see the lighthouse is down there. This road has apparently been featured in BMW commercials before. It's a fun little road to drive out to the Cape around the coast. Here is Cape Blanco Lighthouse. We have a beautiful weather day today. You can wave to our greeters.
Normally you would park in the official parking lot, but I'm parking the employee lot today.
Okay, stop.
Squirrels.
I'm so excited. All right, so if we were a visitor to Cape Blanco Lighthouse, which we are, you would be approaching the greeting center, and then you will have the greeter come and greet you. Usually they're faster.
Hey there, welcome to Cape Blanco Lighthouse. It's a lovely day to come out. We do offer tours into our lovely and beautiful lens that she's been operating since 1870. And if you're interested, there are two
$2. We sell them inside. If not, you're welcome to enjoy the grounds.
Can I use a pass or something? I don't want to pay $2.
We do. You can, if you have a Golden Age pass, it's free.
And a National Parks pass.
And a National Parks pass, and kids are free as well. Oh, awesome. So with that, Nino, if you're interested, Nino will start your tour.
All right.
Yay.
So we're going to pretend we bought our tickets. We're not going to make all of you go and buy your tickets. But if you did,
$2 to the state of
yes,
Oregon if you
yes, please do send $2 to the state of Oregon to maintain this lovely facility. But there is a nice gift shop in here where you can buy stuff. All right. We're going to...
Hello. Welcome to everybody in Cape Blanco. You are actually at the oldest operating lighthouse on the Oregon coast. She was lit December 20th, 1870, and she's basically been going ever since. She's a fine old lady. She's also the highest light above sea level in Oregon, 245 feet. We have some massive capes around here, and we have some big dangerous reefs, and that's why they put the lighthouse out here. We're also the westernmost point in Oregon, and that makes us the most crazy weather. You are really lucky because this is a really nice day. Usually we have some pretty big winds, and in winter we get the big gale force winds as well. And that kind of puts into perspective our last record, which is we have the longest serving lighthouse keeper on the west coast. James Langless came here with his wife and one child in 1876, and he stayed here for 42 years. No running water, no electricity. He lived with two other keepers in a nice big house. Here's a picture of so-called house, and the area over here is where the house was kind of at. At one point, they had 13 people living in that house, so it got pretty claustrophobic.
13, wow.
Yeah, believe it or not. And they were very isolated out here. It was a day's wagon ride into Port Orford. The government gave you some basic supplies, things like dried pork, beans, rice, coffee. But you basically had to take care of anything fresh on site. So they had a little barn right around here. They had some barn animals. There you go, barn. They had a garden where they grew some very, very sturdy vegetables. And then they probably hunted and fished. But that's almost a full-time job. But what they were really hard to do was the lighthouse. Look at her, isn't she beautiful? And they had to keep that lit from sunset to sunrise. Out of the 3 keepers that lived here, 2 were on duty every night. So that meant you only got to sleep in your bed once every 3 nights. The other 2 nights, you were up at the lighthouse. So that's where we're going to go next.
Thank you, Nina.
Woohoo.
Take over, cameraman.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll put my fingers where it should. Okay,
So
there we go.
the camera's up in the top corner.
Got it.
All right, Paul's taking over the camera.
All right, hi guys, here we go. Let's continue the tour.
Probably show them some pretty coast over
Oh
here.
yeah, let's take a look at some of the rocks here on the coast. This is pointing north along the coast. That rock there looks kind of like a square. That's called Castle Rock. And that is the Sixes River. Very good for salmon fishing. And up that river is where the Hughes family had their dairy farm. The Hughes family was the first family here and is who the government bought the land from to build the lighthouse. All right, I'm behind. I need to catch up. And then here's sort of the western side, the eastern side, and headed back towards the Cape. Okay, make sure I don't fall. Okay, and here we are entering the workroom. Now, Cherie will continue the tour.
I better get prepped up, Tom.
You better go. All right. Welcome to the Cape Blanco workroom. So like Nina said, they had to keep the light lit from sunset to sunrise. So the lighthouse keepers would come into this room before sunset, probably about an hour-ish. Come in here about an hour beforehand and start getting everything ready. Now originally this room was 2 rooms. There would be a wall about where I'm standing.
See the nice diagram?
I am. I'm just
The
getting.
diagram there.
I'm reading the comments.
There would, over here would have been where their office area was. They had no computers here at that time, but they did have to keep their logbooks. This was a U.S. Lighthouse Service outpost, which became part of the Coast Guard later. So it was did have to keep military level records out here. So they would record things like the weather and how much oil they were burning and any other chores that they were doing around here, as well as any other shipwrecks or incidents that might have happened around the property. They also would have a workbench over here where they would prepare their tools and keep everything up to order.
Yep.
Now, over in this room, which is called the oil room, there would have originally been 8 of these 100-gallon containers in here, and each of them filled with lard oil. Yum, bacon fat.
Yeah.
So they would have kept the light lit with the lard oil for the first 17 years that the lighthouse was operational. And after that, they did switch to kerosene. When they switched to kerosene, obviously more combustible, so they would keep that off-site. They would come in the evening, they would heat up the room. There would have been a wood-burning stove about where I'm standing, and then they would heat it up, get it to its affordable level, and collect the oil. On a summer's night, they would go through about a gallon of oil, which is about one of these containers, and on a winter's night, which would be up to 13 hours, they could go through 3 gallons. Now, they had to measure it through the gill. I had to go and look up what a gill was when I first got here. It is
not a bird.
It is not a bird.
Not a fish thing?
It is not a fish. It is 4 ounces or half a cup, and that's what they'd have to record in their logbooks. They are then poured into this pail, and then my lovely assistant Nina is going to show us just how heavy this darn thing is. Oh God. And it would be 20 pounds heavier with the oil, and originally it was brass. So like Nina said, there would be 2 lighthouse keepers that worked overnight together. They would take all of their gear with their oil and their other equipment, take that up the stairs, and then they would spend the rest of the evening up in the watchtower, up in the watch room, keeping an eye out, trimming the wick, filling up the oil reservoir, and winding the clockwork when they eventually did put in a shutter system to get the signal going. Around sunrise, when the sun came up, they would extinguish the flame, and then they would have a beautiful Fresnel lens that was covered in soot.
Yeah.
Now, the Fresnel lens is highly polished and is very fragile. It doesn't need to be scratched, so they would have to use very soft materials to keep it clean. So then, that's when they'd get our feather duster.
Ooh, soft.
So they'd clean with a feather duster, soft cloths, and a vinegar solution to keep it cleaned. However, because this was a military installation, they had to wear their very heavy wool uniforms with big scratchy buttons on it, which would of course scratch the lens if they got too close with it. So they would then put this fishing smock on over their uniform, which would protect the lens and also keep that soot off their uniforms, because laundry up here was very difficult, and apparently it's easier to keep soot off of this and keeping this white than it is to keep it off the wool uniform. They would be done with their chores around 10 a.m. and then be ready to go out and do everything else that they had to do around here. But for now, they're going to go up to the lantern room.
Yay!
Where did all these bricks come from?
They were actually kilned right here on site. There are 200,000 of them, and they did the math. It was a lot cheaper and a lot less effort to hire a brick maker and excavate all the materials off of the Sixes River that comes out right over here than to have it shipped in from San Francisco and risk them getting caught up in the rocks, getting on shore.
Cool.
How many stairs to the top?
How many stairs to the top? Well, there are 64 of these amazing stairs going to the top.
Wow.
And this is the original staircase. It is made out of cast iron. It is a freestanding staircase. It is not attached to the walls anywhere except for at the platforms.
Oh, I see somebody up there.
Oh yeah, we're going to go see Chris up at the top.
All right, we'll start climbing those 64 steps.
Let's see if I don't fall. Make an interesting video.
Come to my lair. Come into the light.
We're coming. We're coming.
That sounds like I'm dying. I'm going.
Go into the light.
Ooh, it's kind of a roller coaster ride. Okay, now we're entering the watch level.
Almost there. My apologies, the elevator's still broken. Woo!
Made it.
Welcome. This is
2 in your group? I didn't get a radio message from down below letting me know how many.
Just 2.
So just 2 of you. Welcome to the watch level of Cape Blanco Lighthouse. You have made it to this little room where the 2 lighthouse keepers would spend the night together every night from dusk till dawn. This is their place. This is where they would spend their time hanging out, playing Xbox, doing what they did back then. The things they would do, they would keep watch, and these windows go in all 4 different directions. Stunning views.
This is the north window.
Yes. They'd be looking for shipping. Not sure how that tilting will work on the recording, but they'd be looking for shipping traffic and everything else. But their most important job actually was watching up. This whole center ring of the roof here was not present under the original lens, so they actually had a view to the oil lamp and the inside of the lens, and they would be trying to keep it burning as steadily as they could overnight. So one of the things they would do as they came in at night, that door you just walked through down there, they'd shut it behind them and seal it, not for security purposes. There was no one else out here to bother them. That was actually to turn this into an airtight chamber. And then, all around the room are these dampeners on the wall. They would adjust these to try and get the light to burn as brightly as possible, so that it could be seen as far out to sea as by more ships further out to sea. But for very selfish reasons, they would want it to burn as cleanly as possible. Why? Well, because they couldn't leave in the morning until the lens was spick and span. So if it was sputtering and not burning clean all night long, then they had more work to do before they could leave. Now, you see here a little motor. Initially, there was not an electric motor. They had a small donkey that would walk in circles to spin the light.
That's how they did it.
Yes,
that's donkey.
So sealed in here in a chamber with donkey poop and hay was not working so well. So they decided to scrap that idea. And initially, the light actually did not rotate at all. It was a fixed beacon that shone out to sea in all directions at once. Now, that was very fine in 1870. There was not a lot of other lights up and down the coast, so ships could still pick out, oh, that big bright thing, that must be Cape Blanco. But as there was more development on the coast, more lights up and down the coast, ships needed a way to know what they were looking at, and that they were seeing Cape Blanco and not somebody's living room up on a bluff, or a city, or something else that was on the coast. They needed something to identify it. So this pedestal actually was put in 1912, and a clockwork mechanism was installed, kind of like a grandfather clock. This is still the pre-electricity time, so the lighthouse keepers had to wind it several times a night, but then that grandfather clock would use a system of ropes and pulleys to raise and lower a shield curtain around the lamp that would cause the light to pulse in a pattern that ships at sea would recognize, and they would know on their charts, that's Cape Blanco. Now, everything changed in 1936. We got electricity here. They put the generators down below instead of where the oil room was, put in electric lights, so no more soot, no more cleaning, not nearly as much cleaning. Put in a motor here that spins the lantern, and then they put in an entirely new type of lens that sends the light out in a sweeping pattern as opposed to all directions at once. So if you
Can you see the lens?
Can you see the lens? You want to come up and see?
That is mine.
Nice.
Hey, you want to see the 1936 Fresnel lens? It's waiting for you.
Okay, oops. Don't get too close to Chris's butt.
Stay on the rubber and do not touch any glass. I'll have to smack you if you do.
Would you please?
Now. Order in the house.
I need one hand. Here. Okay. Oh, right.
Welcome to the sauna.
Ooh, cool.
So.
Shiny.
The lens or the view.
Shiny.
And here's the lens. And the light bulbs in the middle, which Chris will tell us about.
But yeah, this is the part of the tour goes on all the tours, and everybody's like, this, that, what question do I want to ask first? But we have here, this is the 1936 Fresnel lens. It is made in Paris, France by Henry Letou, who is actually the same glassmaker who made the original 1870 lens. The 1870 lens was a full first order Fresnel lens. Came out almost to where this diameter of the rubber mats are. So it was an even bigger lens than this. This one is between a first and second order, so it's still one of the largest of its type. This one, as you see, is bullseyes. The center of a bullseye will rotate past you every 20 seconds. That is a flash of light. So a ship at sea will see the signature of Cape Blanco now. Instead of a curtain going up and down, the center of the bullseye will be a bright flash of light. They'll see that every 20 seconds. That's how they know they're looking at Cape Blanco. Every lighthouse has a different signature. Now, what fascinates you more? By this point, people are like, oh, somebody cracked it. Somebody cracked it. What happened there? And I blame it on the prior group of tourists or some kids and
prior hosts.
Prior hosts. But in reality, this glass is priceless and it cannot really be replaced or repaired easily at all. And it's been in service since 1936 continuously. So lots of things have happened to it. There have been storms that have blown the outer windows out. There have been, most of the damage we believe came from cleaning accidents over the years, ladders falling, tools falling. That's the surest way to get fired as a lighthouse keeper. And then there was a little bit of vandalism in the 90s that was very, very costly to repair. But most of you just try to take really good care of it. We'd like this to still be here 100 years from now. Now, if you look inside, it's 2 light bulbs. People want to know, wow, how big are those light bulbs? They're just 1,000-watt halogen bulbs. They're really not too special. There's 2 of them. One is not turned off. It is actually the spare. It comes on automatically when the first one goes out. It actually rotates around so the spare will still be in the exact center of the light to shine this out. How far out to sea? About 26 miles, depending on who you talk to.
Yep.
It gets very hot in here with the door shut. So now's the time to admire the view.
So this is pretty much due west-ish.
As you see by the rocks at sea, this was not a come to safe harbor lighthouse. This was a stay away. This is going to smash you if you get too close. There used to be a foghorn here as well, and that foundation that's out on the corner, everybody asks about that. That was actually a radio beacon that was here. So let's ships with the right equipment to see the lighthouse through the fog.
Do a little 360
Yeah.
here. Hey.
And because you're VIPs, you can come around and get a feel of
Oh,
the
really?
waves
Wow.
crashing on the beach.
Cool. Okay.
And you may wonder, what's this curtain for? Because everybody seems to inevitably ask. Well, in the olden days, when the light was shut down in the morning, the lighthouse keepers would put the light to bed, they would tuck it in with the curtain, they'd wrap it up to protect it from the sun during the day. Now that the light is automated and spinning 24/7 and on 24/7, the light is only ever shut down if something goes wrong. And this curtain is here to protect it. So, because if this stops on a sunny day like this, the sun can go through it like a magnifying glass and maybe start a fire in the far away. That has happened to other lighthouses, or even more likely is that it gets so hot on the glass will turn brown or even melt and ruin the lens. So this curtain is here for protection if this has ever stopped spinning. That never happens, except it happened to Nina. She had that panicked, heart-stopping moment just a week ago of the lens, the light stopping in front of her. And she's on the radio, panicky, calling the Coast Guard, like, emergency, send in the helicopters. But what happened? It was the Coast Guard was here.
It was the Coast Guard that came to clean the lens.
How did the Coast Guard clean the lens?
They cleaned it the same way they did 100 years ago, which is basically with a vinegar solution and a soft lint cloth.
Did they really wear French maid outfits?
They did not, sadly. That would
Only in
be
your
very
dreams.
exciting. They wear Coast Guard outfits now, but yeah, and that's one of the reasons the lens is looking so nice and shiny right now.
And so Nina got to give tours with a little Coast Guard person's face shining out at her from inside the lens.
It was cool.
Yes.
All right, are we...
Any other questions? You're at the
There's
top.
a bunch of questions. I think we probably should get out of the greenhouse.
It's about 90 degrees in here.
And rising, because we shut the door.
And we'll do our lockdown mechanisms, and we'll take the iPad down and see what questions we have. If you have questions about Lighthouse hosting, about the Lighthouse itself, go ahead and start typing those into that chat box in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and we'll try to address them for you when we get down to the
We will continue down in the workroom.
Remember to turn around, face the other way.
Yes, walk down backwards. It's a lot easier unless you want to take the fast way down, but we just finished filling in the crater from the last guest to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get the pen?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would make things a little bit easier.
There we go. There we go.
All righty. So someone asked if there would be time for us to see the RV sites. Unfortunately, we do not have good cellular signal over at the RV sites. I do not know that we'll be able to do that, but we can try. But the RV sites are about a mile away from here, so they will be quite a while for us to get there.
Much cooler down here.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. Huh.
Someone suggested that we need a wireless mic so we could hear the audio better. If someone would like to gift us one of those to make these audio presentations better, then we would be happy to receive that.
Yeah.
I love the phone this makes you walk it.
Ustream is too sensitive. Are we live?
Yes, see the thing
Yes,
going
okay.
up there. Okay. Yay. You have 3 nomads standing by to take your questions. So please go ahead and ask them up in the chat box, which is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. We're open to questions about lighthouses. We're open to questions about life on the road, taking care of animals.
Somebody said yes.
Yes.
We're open to, that's the answer, so we have to make up a question that is yes. This is like Jeopardy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we awesome?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we lighthouse hosts?
Yes.
Can we tell us about the public campground here? So we are at Cape Blanco State Park.
It is probably the nicest, one of the nicest state parks I've ever been in, and that says a lot.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gorgeous here.
For me, I think it's the nicest state park on the Oregon coast, and we've done almost all of them. They're $20 a night for water electric hookups.
They're all first come, first serve, which is kind of unique. It's fun, so you can't make a reservation, and if you get in and get a good site, you can keep it for 2 weeks.
Yes. And the one downside, the dump station at this park has been closed for over a year now.
Good point.
And I don't think it is slated to reopen anytime soon. So dump before you come, and then make your tanks last. One of the perks of being hosts here is you get hookups, but the regular sites, there is no dump station.
But the sites are all very private and very nice.
And some of them even have ocean views.
Well, we have a question. How many people...
So actually, he says, how far ahead do you need to apply to be a host? So I think Greg will start taking reservations up to a year in advance, right?
Yeah, you can apply now. You can apply anytime. We got in last year just a month before we needed to come because there was a cancellation. But otherwise, it's probably best to apply ahead of time. And you guys...
We kind of got lucky. We applied...
We applied in May to do July. We had to cancel, of course, because of our engine rebuild. And when we were back on the road, that was mid-August, and we contacted the ranger here, and he said he still needed someone for September. So there does seem to be a good number of last-minute spots available. So if you're not a planner, we're not planners.
Although we are planning to come back next. We are all planning to come back next year.
Yes,
It's so
yes,
awesome.
we get first
it is
dibs.
awesome.
We get first dibs on September, so we're taking it. Okay.
How many people come through a day?
So it's been about 100, 125 tours a day.
Yeah.
Summer was 250, right?
Yeah, summer it can get 250 to 300 even a day, and then now we're around 150 a day, sometimes 100, something like that.
Yeah, so it's been, September definitely you start to get less folks out here. Someone asked what are the best months. September and October are rumored to be the best months.
Yes.
September is probably the best month just about anywhere.
It's ours. You guys
Yeah,
can't have it. Sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, most of summer is not too bad. Summer gets very windy here, but it can be very, very beautiful as well.
What months were you here last time?
We were here in August last year, and it was very windy. We did spend a lot of time wearing our long underwear, but you do get spectacular days as well. So I think summertime, October you start to get into the rain. Spring apparently is quite nice too.
We have a question. Someone would like to know our thoughts on wide-body classic bus RVs versus multiple slides.
That would be for you guys.
Well, versus multiple slides.
Oh, multiple slides. All right.
So I don't know where folks are coming from. Some of you might be Nina's blog readers, some of you are. Some of you might be followers of both of us. Chris and I travel in a narrow body bus. Nina and Paul travel.
We have 4 slides.
They have all the slides.
Yeah.
None of them are water slides, though, unfortunately.
No, none of them are water slides.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Water leaking slides, yes.
So Chris and I, we intentionally did not want slides. We like the simplicity of not having other things to break, less worry about installation issues, less leak issues, and less to have to set up and take down when we're going in and out of a site.
We wanted slides mostly for the space. I mean, the slides do provide a lot of space, but going back to Cherie's point, the only problem we've had with our RV in the past 4 years has been a slide issue. And it was a leak in the slide, a misalignment in the slide. So they do potentially give you more issues, but they do also provide a lot more space.
Right. So in that said, we get space envy. When we're socializing with Paul and Nina, we're usually
mostly at our place.
we come to their place, but it's because she cooks. So that does it. But we host our spots.
And they make good guaguacamole.
I've got to make some tonight, by the way. I've
yes,
got a lot of
avocados.
Really good.
So yeah, I'll be going back. Avocados.
Okay, so someone says, are you getting paid for hosting or just the site? No, there is no financial
No cash,
cost.
but they gave us jackets that we get to keep.
Yes, we all get our jackets.
We get hats that we get to keep.
Volunteer.
We get name tags we get to keep. And we got water bottles we got to keep too. I mean, that's pretty substantial. I'd say.
And we get the free full hookup site.
Yeah, so it is a volunteer position. There is no financial compensation. This really isn't what's considered work camping. Because we are volunteers. And requirement of volunteering here is living on site. So they provide the full hookup site for us to live here.
It's about 17 hours a week that we volunteer.
Right.
15 to 17.
Right, and the value of the site, Oregon State Parks charge $24 a night for a full hookup 50-amp sewer site. So the value of our site is $720 a month. You divide that by the approximately 136 hours each of us will serve for the month, or each couple will serve for the month. It comes out to about $5.80 an hour if you're looking at it as a financial thing.
Per person?
Per couple.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
$2 and something.
No. It's 136 hours total that each couple will serve.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's way less than minimum wage. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You're not in it for the financial gain.
Yes, but we love it. It's just so much fun. It's beautiful here. We get to live in this gorgeous location, wonderful neighbors, and it's fun to share the history and the location with visitors here. I mean, people who come here are excited about Lighthouse.
Yeah, and don't do this if you don't like lighthouses.
Or don't like people.
Or don't like people.
Yeah.
Don't do this sort of job if you don't like if you don't like the basic thing you're trying to share about. We all think lighthouses are awesome, so.
And you do get to spend a month in a really pretty place where you would otherwise not be able to spend the month. You would have a 2-week limit.
Yes, that is the other perk. I see. So I think Paul or Chris are going to have to get on top of one of those motorhomes, stretch out your right hand with a cell phone, touch your nose with your left index finger to get a better signal.
I've done every possible signal dance you can imagine.
Yeah, we can all do the signal dance here. Yeah, we all have boosters set up in the RV. Unfortunately, the one that gets to this AT&T iPad is not.
It's currently set up in the bedroom so Cherie can watch Star Trek Voyager at night on our Netflix streaming. So if we were going to do this Q&A, we'd be coming from bed, and it'd get a little crowded with the three of us.
And then we'd have to do pay-per-view for that version.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Okay, so what are your favorite places to winter?
Oh, Southwest for us, hands down. We love the desert because there's lots of BLM land. We can camp for free practically all winter, and the weather's generally really good. So we pretty much exclusively winter in the Southwest.
And we tend to winter in Florida. So that's why we don't get to meet up with these folks so often, is we're usually on opposite sides of the coast. We have family in Florida, so that's what tempts us back to Florida every winter. And as many of you know, we spent the last 3 years caretaking my father, so so we routed around the southeast a lot.
And we are planning Cedar Key again this winter too. Oh, yeah.
We are planning.
We've got a reservation.
Yeah, we have a reservation for January for Cedar Key again this year. One winter, I would love to do an Arizona thing.
It'll probably be the winter they do Florida.
Yeah,
probably, yeah, because Paul has family in Florida, so we'll probably swap over right that winter.
Okay.
Can we smell campfires?
They're not too bad.
Okay. Love to meet other people. Awesome.
Okay. 2 couples per month. There's actually
4
total Lighthouse couples per month, and you rotate. There's kind of a 3-day schedule that you rotate on, you do the the afternoon, and then you do full day, then you do morning, then you have a day off, and everybody has Monday and Tuesday off.
Mm-hmm. It's a great rotation. It's very fair.
Yeah, you get about 3 days off a week.
Yep, and no one gets like the good shift because you're always rotating through all the different shifts. Everyone's working morning shifts. Everyone's doing all-day shifts. Everyone will get a Saturday and a Sunday. Everyone will get a Saturday off at some point. So, no one is getting... On the flip side, I don't think in any of my years of being nomadic... Now, I always had problems knowing weekdays from weekends. I am more messed up in knowing what day of the week it is than I ever have been being here.
And just so you know, if you volunteer at another lighthouse, it'll probably be a little different. We volunteered at Kokio River, which is just north of here, and the schedule there is 5 days on, 2 days off. So every lighthouse is a little different, even within the same state.
All right, someone has invited us both to park at their place near New York City. Jean Salvatore. Make sure you email us that information because there's no way we can look you up off of your Ustream ID name. So please do email that invitation. I do keep a list of invitations that we've gotten, and when we come to different areas, we look to see what interesting people we can meet up with in our travels. We love meeting up with people in our travels. Oh, good. It's 99 degrees in Arizona. I think we'll wait a couple months before we get there.
Yeah, you got to wait a little while. We're not going to be in the desert before mid-November. You want to wait till mid-November, December.
Yes.
What is the name of the campground we're at?
Okay, so you might have missed that one. We're at Cape Blanco Lighthouse.
And it Cape Blanco State Park.
State Park. It is a state-run park. Have any of you been through U.S., Mexico, or Canada customs with pets? We have not crossed borders with our pets.
We have not either. I mean, we've done it before RVing.
Right, because you took them to Hong Kong, right?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, we've done it before RVing, but not in the RV. I think basically all you need is a rabies certificate. Sometimes you might need a bill of health, but most people say it's not a problem.
Right, yeah. I don't think I've encountered anyone who's had trouble as long as they have the proper paperwork done for their pets. I think they tend to have more problems with alcohol and guns and plants.
Yeah. Oh, they did Hasita Head. Yeah, we did Hasita Head tours and stayed at Carl Washburn.
Yeah, so each lighthouse assignment. So Oregon State Parks, there was an article on our blog that we did just this week that goes through how to get this job, what the requirements are. And then if you want to work with the Oregon State Park system, you just go to OregonStateParks.org, click on volunteer, and then the host information is all there. They even keep a list of what the current openings are, and you just fill out an application and or contact the park of your choice and kind of make direct connections with the ranger there. And that's how you get in. It's really simple and easy.
And in addition to the lighthouse, this particular park, they also have the historic Hughes House, which is an 1870s, 1880s historic house that has a couple that is stationed there, and there's a lifeboat museum, and there's a few day use areas. So there's a lot of other opportunities.
There's camp host sites,
and then there's the traditional camp hosting things as well.
Yeah, and there are multiple lighthouses in Oregon that do volunteering, and lots of other volunteer positions too.
Hey, Clark.
Hey, Clark. Nice for you to join us. So Clark's he's heading up to the Sugar Beet Festival, Harvest.
Festival.
Festival, yes. You call it festival.
It's more fun. They pay you to fest.
So I'm really curious to see how that aspect of work camping goes for you guys.
Somebody did respond about crossing the border with pets. They said they need to have a health certificate within 72 hours of crossing into Mexico and did not get asked for anything in Canada. So that's from a commenter.
All right. Are there any other questions you have? You've got 2 RVing households represented here. Let's see, someone says the next RV project for us boosting our capture of Wi-Fi signal when camping. Is that covered in our book? Yes, that is heavily covered in the book. The mobile
Get the book. It's a good book.
The Mobile Internet Handbook.
Non-paid endorsement.
Yeah, non-paid. Well, by guacamole, maybe.
Okay.
That means we get to write off the guacamole ingredients.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yes, we did write a book on internet and RVing. That's the Mobile Internet Handbook, and you can find that on our blog. It is available in PDF, Kindle, iBooks, EPUB, and print.
Yes. Okay. Will we do the Lighthouse tour again? This will be archived. The video will be put up. So there'll be that, or you can come out here while we're still here. You got a few more weeks to come out and give a tour in person.
Yeah, so when Mr. Lighthouse tour, we will not be doing the live video stream tour again, but we will be putting up the tour on YouTube. Just check our Facebook page. I'll be putting a link, or you can go to our website, and I have a link there to all of our chat archives. So the video tour of the Lighthouse that we did at 4 o'clock this afternoon will be put up in the archives as soon as I get back to the motorhome and can click the button that does that. What do you find most difficult while RVing?
Oh goodness, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't find RVing that difficult, to be honest. We love the lifestyle. We kind of came into it and we loved it. I don't know. You'll find people will have different issues. Some people have issues with space. Some people have issues with moving. Some people have issues being in a couple. But I mean, you guys did like a whole video chat on this very thing, right?
Yeah, but it's overall not difficult.
It's really not that difficult.
It's not difficult.
A lot of, some of the common things that happen for folks is when you first hit the road, it's very tempting to go and see it all, and you can get exhausted very quickly by doing too many miles. We're very different paces. You guys do about 2,500 miles a year?
Yeah, we do very low mileage.
And we do about 6,000 to 8,000 miles a year now. We've slowed it down. We used to do 13,000 miles a year. But it's all about finding your own pace and mixing it up. Most difficult, it's also breakdowns can.
Yeah,
I mean, but you handle
houses
break, things break down.
I found having a 40-mile each way commute a lot more difficult than life on the road in an RV. Yeah.
Any generational observations? You all are younger than typical RVers.
That's
we just look
generally
that way.
true.
We just have really good health. We're all really 80 years old.
Yeah, I'm really 80. Look at that skin. Yeah.
Yes, we're all in our early 40s. Chris and I hit the road when we were 33. You guys were...
Yeah, we were just barely turning 40 when we hit the road, yeah.
So,
but yeah, I mean, you do meet a lot of RVers that are generally older,
but they tend to be young at heart. I mean, that's amazing. What happens is people who embrace this sort of lifestyle just have a youthfulness to them that they're still capturing and embracing, and it's completely inspirational. It makes me not afraid to grow older.
Yeah, I mean, we've met tons of older RVers that we have really gotten along with very, very well.
Many peers. People who make these sorts of choices, no matter what their physical age is, there's some commonality in peership that happens.
The other two host couples here for Lighthouse hosting are older, and they're fabulous. They're absolutely great, and it's a great mix of energy. Yeah,
the difference is because we're still in our income earning years, and we all have to keep, we're not getting pension payments, we're not getting Social Security payments or anything like that, so we are having to keep our incomes up. Chris and I do software development, write books, do technical consulting, and you guys...
Yeah, Paul does full-time investing, and I do a little bit of writing, so yeah, we all have stuff that we work on in between our volunteering.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to Cedar Key this winter, we just answered that. How many miles on average? I think you guys all just mentioned this.
So how many miles on average do you guys cover in a month?
A month.
So by month is very difficult to... because
this month
that varies a lot. This month is 0?
Yes.
Awesome.
So Chris and I, we like to mix it up. So if we feel called to doing miles, we'll do miles. And then we like to be still for a while, somewhere for a while. And it's just a matter of getting in tune with what your own pace is and what you want to... how much you want to do. I mean, how far do you want to go? We have families spread across the country, so we tend to do a lot of miles and crisscrossing the country multiple times a year. We might spend 2 months crossing the country, or we might say, we just want to get there, and we'll do it in 2 weeks. I think the Geeks on Tour still, Geeks on Tour here. They just did a cross country in a week to get to Jim's father's internment at Arlington.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they just did the cross country. You can do it. You can go quick if you want to, or you can take it slow and make an adventure out of it. And there's no right or wrong way about it. How do you all deal with health insurance?
I try not to.
Oh man.
Sometimes you have to call by phone, but usually
isn't that like a whole separate chat?
that could be a separate chat or maybe a drinking session.
Yeah. Yes, the health insurance one is probably too complicated of an issue to cover as a quick question, and we do have a chapter on that in the No Excuses Go Nomadic series that's linked to off our blog that goes over a lot of the common stuff. And one of the projects that we have coming up that we want to start doing is we are currently rewriting the No Excuses series. And we're probably going to start doing a video talk on each chapter as we come out with the new chapters. So we'll be able to get more into the extensive stuff to talk about health insurance. That's just a very complex topic.
Yeah, I think most young couples will end up with a high deductible health insurance.
Yeah.
That's
And
probably
that's
the short answer.
Yeah, that's what all four of us have. Is
Yeah.
we all have high deductible HSAs with PPO networks that are fairly nationwide. That's the
But
short
things may
answer.
all change here soon.
Right. So we're kind of holding off until we see how the exchanges go through and everything else. So stay tuned. That is something we do plan to talk more about that at a future date. What happened to the wood-burning stove in the lighthouse, and was the oil room a separate room?
There used to be a wall across the center there.
Yeah. So that, like we said in the video tour, there was a wall. The oil was a separate room, and I do not know what happened to the wood-burning stove when they took that out. That would have been taken out back in 1887.
Yeah, it would have been taken out once they took out the lard because they no longer needed to heat the oil.
Right.
Kerosene, they kept it outside
Yeah.
the lighthouse. So when the oil was inside the lighthouse, it was in that separate kind of half-divided room there. And then 1887, they switched to kerosene. They took the oil out of the lighthouse and put it in a separate oil house.
Yep. And going to a different topic, can you stay overnight at Interstate Highway rest stop? Sometimes I see several RVs late there at night. That all depends upon the state.
Yeah.
Each state has their own rules on how many hours you can stay overnight, stay in a rest stop area, and then sometimes that can vary by rest stop. Our app, State Lines, actually does. State Lines actually. Yes. Sorry, we've been giving tours all day long. So our app, State Lines, which is available for Android and iOS, does actually include those laws in it, so that you can know before you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. So I think we probably should be wrapping this. Cats or dogs or both?
Both.
One cat, 2 dogs, 2 cats, 1 dog.
Do you know how many animals you have?
I don't know yet. And 1 husband.
Yes, get the husband.
Who is walking the dog right now?
Does that
Yes,
count as
yes.
an animal?
Yes. Yes, she really does have a husband. We have met him. He's a little camera shy, so.
Yeah.
But that's all right. And we have 1 cat, and we love dogs. We love friends with dogs, but they're a lot more work.
We like to visit dogs at
We
Barlowland.
love to visit dogs at Barlowland. That's fantastic. I'm going to give you guys just a couple seconds here to pop up any more questions before we say goodbye for now.
We'll just give you a little walk down and give you one final view of the waves crashing there.
It's pretty neat here.
Yes. I'll turn the camera around, give you a view, take it up the coastal. If you have any
This
questions,
is a horrible place to spend
ask
a month.
them now.
Yeah. You can see why we hate it.
Yeah, so this is just steps from our campsite. That's Port Orford up the road there. The lighthouse is on the
Just
next,
around the bend.
so there's a bend over here, and the lighthouse is around the other bend. It's beautiful to watch at night, beautiful to watch during
We
the
hear
day.
seals.
Someone asked, do you often do the touristy thing or mostly do the homebody thing?
Well, I think we're all kind of homebodies.
Yeah.
We're kind of more homebodied. I'll do a little bit of the touristy
Exactly,
thing.
a little bit of the
but
touristy.
that's not our focus. My focus is to live in amazing places, not necessarily go and see every site that's out there. But I try to mix a little bit in.
Yeah, and we probably do a little more of the touristy thing than Chris and Cherie, but we're still mostly homebody as well.
Yeah. I don't think many of us have left the campsite much at all since we've been here.
Not really.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us for our September chat. If you missed the Lighthouse tour, that'll be up on archive soon, and we'll get that going. And we'll see you sometime in about a month, next time that we have bandwidth and connectivity.